How's it, guys? Good afternoon, Anne-Marie. Yeah, well, it would do, to be honest. Yeah, as you probably saw, I posted there the increase in the interest rate by half instead of 0.25% at 3 o'clock. So you expect us to have some jump in the rand. It's more about the rand than dollar. Mind us, having said that, the dollar's come off, attacking 102 again. So can't say that was a surprise. if the rand had weakened or something, then dollar ZAR went shooting up. You see that window at the top floor? You hear that scream? That's me jumping out. Then there's no sense left. All right to talk till it comes to doing it, eh? We should get out there, eh? Okay, 4 o'clock. Let's get started. Aha, new person joining. Stop occasionally. Okay, right. A couple of things. Let's go to the now. Start off with that opening at 4 o'clock. Okay, it's still it's still looking terrible. Okay, not much we can do about that. The new structure we'd have done all right. The new trading structure, but unfortunately, which we'll go into just now, clearly not. GBP USD, the weak dollar is pound shot up. It's not much the pound's about the dollar. The dollar's weakened, and look at that. A couple of fundies came out at past, but not much difference. GDP was a tiny scratch less than expected, and I think just got to check again. We've only about 2,000 difference on the jobless claims. Where is it now? Where is it now? Here we are. Jobless claims 198 instead of 2,000 more, but it's such a tiny differential. It's not worth worrying about. The GDP 2.6%, so an expected 2.7 of 0.1 didn't make that much difference. This is really dollar weakening. I think it's just looking at a weaker dollar. I think overreaction. Right? I think I like weakening. Leave it at that. And that's shoot the lights out of that trade as well. So that's a hassle. DJ is the DJ sort of thoughts coming off, and that seems to be going back up again. Yeah, it seems to be trying to have a bit of a movement there, but the Nasdaq seems to be continuing its merry journey. What's Microsoft doing? Microsoft, yes, some guys have got a better price. That's fine. My stop was there clearly better price, so they might getting. I got 80, they got 83. I got in a couple of days ago anyway. Okay, that's fine. The gold's doing squat at the moment. Yeah, a hassle. A couple of new guys in here, so I'm just going to copy and paste. This is important economic calendar. Just give me a second. I'll copy and paste it. Please save it. You've got to know what's happening on the fundamental front clearly. Anybody fairly new can ask questions. A forum, you can interact. I've been around and shared this forum for a while, so pick it up as you go along. It's not a class, it's something that's ongoing. Okay, we suffer together or we cheer on and do well together. Here's the dollar index. Save this one as well. There we are. Do you want to know what's happening to the dollar? It tells you. And obviously, economic fundamentals. Clearly, the 3 stars are more important than 2 stars. So it clearly says that in the economic calendar. Keep checking it. Don't dive into something with a massive fundamentals coming out. Just to reiterate, Friday, Good Friday, not this coming, not tomorrow, the week after, Good Friday, I'll be on probably about 1:45. But for the non-farm payrolls, 2:30 data release, do what they, as we now know, the straddle trade. Some people will be new to it, so I'll go through the mechanics again and have it set up ready for when the details are released. What you guys do? Okay, right. Okay, those are sort of backup stuff. Not much else on that front except never suffering a bit. Trade signals are really not happy, and yeah. So let's have a look at what we discussed this morning. Right. I did 2 trades subsequently this afternoon, and we did one which is slightly fake at 8 and 10 this morning, as if we had the already knowledge. So we'll start off with in alphabetical order. We'll start with the Euro USD. The Euro USD was, we'll go to the one I've got it up there. Remember, it was 8 o'clock this morning when it broke through. Where was it? Somewhere. Where's 8 o'clock? Was it 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock? So I've got my bloody times down. Just give me a second. So don't worry about it. That's just a thing going off. Lights going off, as they say. 0800 was the other one, and 12 and 2. Okay, oh, I've got it written down. I didn't see it there. Beg your pardon. Right, 10 o'clock this morning. Where was 10 o'clock? This is from 10 o'clock. There we are. 10 o'clock opened above this area here. By which it's an exponential. I'm sure it's going to get in the way. I'll leave it there for a moment. Ignore it. Just trying out a couple of things today. So we got in a break above, as you can see there, and the figure we got in was I put down 60. It's actually 55, but I just put extra 5 on just to make it even more likely to cover the spread. So at the moment, it is 60, 50, nearly 60 pips, just under 60 pips in profit. Very nice. Clearly, I didn't actually go into that trade. That's what we would have done in hindsight. If this was tomorrow, we would have done it. So we're not really cheating. But then the stop loss would be moved, and now the stop loss would be 50 pips below that, which would be 65. So 108.65. So it's 5 pips in profit. Okay. So we just let that ride. So that's 55 pips up at the moment. The other one's at 8 o'clock sell on the dollar US. Remember, you wouldn't be able to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning unless you're awake. Just bear that in mind on a practical level. But most people are awake by 8 o'clock. I certainly am anyway, but most people are. The next one was, I'll do the one we did this morning with you guys. Dollar, we'll get an alphabetical laws, what I mean. This was a sell at 91.77 at 8 o'clock this morning. Let's go to 8 o'clock. Where's 8 o'clock here? Here we are. 8 o'clock, open below there. Is it 8 o'clock? There we are. Open below there. 8 o'clock entry. And at the moment, it is at, 91. We went short, so we're getting out on the long. Is that right? 91.41. So we're now 36 pips in profit. So one about 60, and on 36. That's 96 net on those 2. 2 I did this afternoon. Started off the NZDC. Well, shall I start off with a nicer one? GBP CAD. A quick zoom. It's not on here. Yeah, Zena's coming and call it past, and he pointed out. I nearly missed it. And he pointed out. And I went in, as you can see, I went in at just after 2 when it opened, 67.20. I went at 60, oh, you can see it anyway, 67.20. As you can see, it opened above there, it popped down, however, but it opened above there, okay? Subsequently came down. So I opened up at 67.20. Is that correct? This one here, the buy. And then at the moment, it's, well, how much is in profit? 67.20, and what is it now? 36 pips in profit, or 30 pips. We're on the bid on the buy, aren't we? So that's 30 pips in profit. Now, the one that's not doing, was doing well, not so well, I also opened up, and this I opened up at 12, just after 11 o'clock, finished the session, was the NZD CHF. And clearly, it's giving a bit of jip at the moment. I'm still on the one now, yeah, that's correct. It's coming off a bit, so it didn't quite close above, so I'm still in it. The stop clearly is up there. Yeah, I got in there. I've modified it, I think, slightly on the stop because it was coming off down there, and I adjust the stop. So you'll find it's not quite 50 pips away, as you can see. So I've already adjusted. I've left it there, by the way. As it came off, I adjusted the stop loss. So at the moment, this is down by 2 pips. All right. Get the idea. So that's the 4 trades. Right. So there we are. Just a recall on that. I think that's pretty damn good so far. That's today. What do you think? All stunned into silence. I never had that problem. We'll catch up with all this, Charlton, and know what else going on. We'll catch up with stuff. Something we discussed this morning. Any comments, guys?
Good afternoon, all. No, this is really positive. Unfortunately, I was occupied in a meeting and I couldn't do it. But as soon as I have from now on a chance and the trades line up, I'm definitely going to test it.
Okay. Well, I can safely say that there's no doubt about it. If you have, let's say, somebody working with you, I mean, let's give an example like Dirk and Anna Marie. There are going to be some times that Anna Marie's got to go to the shop or she's got to go and do something, not go to the loo, that's 5 seconds, 5 minutes or whatever. But I mean, go and do something. The other can have an eye, keep an eye on it. So this is really where I think it'll work better when you got yourself, I suppose, but it's nice to have a bit of moral support, a second person. And the other person, not just sitting there idly, I'm just thinking this can be looking around for other ones. So they might say, like, just have to suggested by one of the guys on here. We'll look at the NZDCA, no, the GBP CAD and the NZDCA. So, or was it Etienne? I can't remember anyway, but it was suggested. I would have missed them. And anyway, they were suggested to me and I went for them because they fell in between the parameters discussed this morning. And to say one's a couple of pips in the negative, but the other one's, I forgot now, 20, 30 in the positive or whatever. And the other two from this morning are, a lot more. So altogether, we're talking over 100 pips between them, net profit so far. Now, just think if you've got enough money to put, let's say, 0.1, not talking about the NAS now, we're talking about currencies, 0.1 plus minus $1 a pip. That'd be about $800. If you got R1 million and you're up 1,800 rand, call it 2 grand in one day, multiply that, if you do every day, which you won't, multiply that by 200, what's 2 grand times 200? 200? 2 grand, 20,000, 200,000, that's 400 grand. That's 400,000 rand. So, you know what I mean? That's enormous profit. What's that's 40%, you know what I mean, on $1 million. So, and you wouldn't be going on $1 million, by the way, 0.1, you'd be going on 1.0. So you can multiply that by 10, you get the idea. So, I mean, if you did that, a 0.1, 100 grand, you'd made 400%. If you've been on 100 grand, you'd make 400% if you sustain that. It's not always going to happen, clearly, but you can see the potential working on a percentage basis. Of course, I couldn't agree more, Peter. I'm just saying on theory, we're still in there, we could end up with a different story. But I'm just saying the potential is there, but you're quite right. You're quite right. You only call it profit, you realized it. As say, my house is worth $1 million, 2 million, or 20 million, doesn't really matter. It's only worth that when you've concluded the deal and a guy, no matter what's in your head is worth, the buyer decides he's going to pay that money and the deal is closed, sealed, and done. That's correct. Quite right. But I'm just giving the overall aspect and trying it out today. We're going to try it out, I think, for a month, give it a bit of time to see the pitfalls and tweak it a bit, etc. But I don't think it's too bad a start. But you're quite right, Peter, that's what you need. People just to sort of, bring you down to earth, don't get too carried away. And that's why, if you find guys like yourself retired and you got somebody else retired, you might have a meeting with the guy who doesn't, so they can keep an eye on it when you're doing that. And they might even have your WhatsApp handy. Sorry about the meeting. Pull out the phone, bang, 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 done. Carry on with the meeting. Get the idea. Doesn't take 2 seconds. Yes. It might be an idea just to work on that sort of basis. Stick with me, Farley. That's why the thing you got with Marius, keep calling him Marius, and Anna Maria, and maybe Mark. I think of Mark, it might be a nice one if you can get something not just culturally similar, time similar, financially similar, I suppose. I don't know how important that is, but certainly culturally and time similar. But if someone out there knows a bit about tech, you don't have to be an IT expert, but a bit about tech. I mean, it might be an area in a set alerts. It's not quite got to that place yet, but you don't want to stare at many things. You're looking at other things, doing other stuff. The alert, dang, 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 takes off. It's actually opened up below the parameter which you set. Then you can go and check it out. So you won't miss something coming a little bit too late. You know, how to set that up, you know, and maybe somebody else who can be looking, as you're keeping an eye on one, they can be looking for other possibilities. It's just ways and tweak and get it better. But I think for a start, it's looking basically not even a full day yet. It's looking hopeful, but we don't want to get, you know, start retiring on it and sort of, taking out HP on Mercedes-Benz just yet. But it seems to, so far, let's see what happens. Okay, start to look okay.
Oh, great. Roger, did you do it on the exponential 10 days? See, you left it there. Did you prefer that?
No, I just put this in playing around. I want all of you to be doing it. Anyone's doing this idea, play around. I've used a 5 there, shorter term one. I try a simple, I've tried an exponential. For me, if it crosses, it might be get a better entry, an earlier entry, or it might get a better get out if it's going against me instead of, now if you go on with a 50 pip risk, it might give an indicator to get out in a 20 to 30 pip risk. So it's even better. I'm just playing around. I might take this thing off, actually. Don't want to confuse you guys.
No, I've just looked at it. It's fine. I mean, we need all to test it. It's like doing some research.
Exactly. It's exactly that. Yeah. But all those at the moment are simple, not one exponential. I just put the 5-day exponential on just to see if it has any effect. But during the session, I don't want to confuse people to take it off. But see if looking back over a bit of time. At the moment, I haven't really seen it. Maybe it's too short to get an idea of it. It's natural, you know, everything that happened, you want it now. You know the Queen song, I want it all. I want it all. I want it now. You may just have to be a bit patient on it, I don't know. But my worry is if this opens above, the whole candle opens above this one on the NZDCHF, it might be an idea to take it, even though the stop's up there. I haven't made my mind up yet. We'll discuss it at 5. It's 4:15 now. We'll discuss it at 5 and see where it is, whether it's worth taking or not, and just accept the loss. Because it's nicer to get a 20 pip loss than a 50. Sounds a lot, it's not a good word. The 20, it's like it's better to lose one leg than two. It's not nice to lose a leg, it's worse to lose both. So it might be in a situation where if it closes above there, maybe take it. Or if you stick to the stop, maybe, I don't know. But I tend to feeling that if it does close above there, as a full candle close above there, just accept it. If it breaks down, it's only maybe 50, maybe 50 pips, I don't know. But if it breaks down below, maybe 2 hours hence below it, you can take it again. See how it goes. But so far, the experiment with 2 new ones so far is okay. And the 2 ones we put in, as discussed this morning, not slack reality, because we weren't in at the time. But if we had gone in at 8 on the parameters, now it's all 4 on the parameters as discussed. It's pretty damn good so far. So far, that's be quite 100% correct. Said so far, we're still in them. Might not end up quite that same, but hopefully with the stop loss being enforced, not much of a risk. Let's go to the euro dollar one, for example. The euro dollar one, if it does go pear shaped, your stop loss at 60, it's now 15. Now the stop loss will be at 65. So you won't lose on this one now. Okay, so we just run it, you won't lose. Okay. What's the other one? USD CHF. This one now, the stop loss would have been at 91.77. It's now 37. So what's 750? It's only 13 pips you would lose on this one. If it jumps up 50 pips and stops you out, you get the general idea. Okay. The other one, like GBP CAD, I have really done that one. So GBP CAD, what's that doing for the moment? Okay, now that's the stop loss. See, the difference in the stop loss here, it's only now about 10 pips, where originally it was 50. I just modified. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there. If it gets stopped out, so be it. I'm not going to reduce it back again. I'm going to leave it there, like a trailing stop. It'll move towards entry, but it won't suddenly back off if it comes down, if you get the point. All good? Don't forget, guys, it's also a trading room. If you want to ask any questions and you're not sure of, just want to quickly mention so you don't forget, right click on the blank part of the chart, left click on templates, and then save the template. And then put your name in there, save it. So if you do lose the charts for whatever reason, some happen problems, go to templates, go to your save chart, click on it, and you're back up and running again. If you want to know anything about the information, it doesn't very much. Click on anyone. Left click, right click, left click on specifications. It tells the contract size. It tells the margin of deposit. From that, divide that into 100, gives you leverage. It gives you information. It goes further down. Full access means you can buy it or sell it. If it says close only, means you can't open a new trade. If you hadn't got any at the moment, the JSC used to be, let's say, buy only. You couldn't short the stock. Sometimes that came in. Sometimes they do that. If you get a run on something, the government of the country might turn around and say, no short sellers to make the situation worse. That happens. You'll always be able to buy it, but someone will look out short sellers. Most people don't like short sellers, by the way. They don't like them at all. Those are guys that don't take the risk of short selling. I'm from this country. I mean, the more knowledgeable nations in this thing, short sellers, they don't like them. They think they compound the problem. Because they're all thinking, what about the poor guy now who's definitely out of work? The short sellers made the situation worse, but that's the way it is. Okay. Nice profit, but I don't close the trade because I'm looking for TP. I'll have to do it. Yeah, I'll be honest, past that wasn't a problem. It's just lately with so much fundamental, that's why I'm trying to think of something new, because the fundamentals are stuffing me up. Never mind you guys. When I say me, for me, more experience, it's stuffing me up. It sure as I'll be stuffing that guys up and been up in a few months. And that's the problem. It's a brilliant idea to go from there to there at the moment, but then it's doing just fine. Nothing wrong with that. Then some other bloody thing comes up and trips it up, falls back down there. And that's why, as I say, you need to be slightly more conservative or modify stop more. Unfortunately, sometimes you're stopped out in small profit, it goes on and gets a bigger one. But we've got to start making a plan because, as I say, with the best will in the world, I mean, look at some of the trades we had out. They're doing brilliantly. US dollar CAD, GBP, a few of them doing brilliantly. Then something comes up, not just a straight economic fundamental. Something comes up and it rolls off. That is, yeah, and that's just not good. So, yeah, this is why, triggered by Etienne, and then I thought about this, put it together, played around with it, and let's see how it works. You've got some bright guys out there, and who've got the hang of this. They might see something. Always contribute. We're a team together to contribute. We can check it out. Let's have, oh, that's a good idea. Try the 7-day exponential or the 21-day simple. I don't know, but just something in that line to get an idea, to tweak it, come up with it, put our brains together. But that's the bare bones of the idea. And so far, touch wood's okay. Again, I'll bring back to Mr. Mayor there. He's quite right. We can only start saying we made a profit once we're out. Okay, that's when we can look at it. Yeah. I know South Africa are 50 points up in the rugby against Romania. It's unlikely Romania will come back and win, but till the final whistle blows, let's not celebrate. You're quite right. We discussed that today, actually, in quite length, and I'm afraid to say I quite agree. I think I come around with a couple of things you brought in mind, which is quite a nice one. The moving averages get left behind. In the end, there's such a difference between the price and the moving average. It tends to consolidate till the moving averages start closing up a bit. And I thought it was a brilliant way of putting it, because it means some of the guys are saying, this is getting a bit overvalued. Hang on, I'm getting a bit worried. Just settle down. Let's cool it down a bit. I mean, with all due respect, Etienne, your house, 2 million rand, a nice house, but for some reason now it's gone up to 4 or 5 million. Even you'll be a happy chap. You can think, I'm getting a bit nervous here. It's a bit overvalued. You get the idea. Let's just settle back before we get too cute and see if the market's going to sustain that valuation, or you're going to get out of it. And when you get out of the house, you're selling it. And if you're selling the house, it brings the price down. You get the idea. So your point there, I thought, was pretty well made.
I definitely agree with you, Etienne, that the environment for trading have changed. Only in the last 6 months I've experienced that.
Not half. Well, I've been in this for a while, as you clearly know. And I've never seen such fundamental difference in the entire. Well, COVID really didn't help, but at least we got some consistency on the NAS. But lately, the bank particularly, and then the inflation, the two opposing forces, and that is a continual discussion arguing on most of the news, not the gossip news ones, the financial news come like Bloomberg and NCBC, or whatever you call it, and Business Day and stuff like that. Osborne, you can modify soil if your trade goes south, you don't lose something. That's the idea of the modification. I didn't do that. Called back 3-4 years ago, I used to leave it, let it run. And if it maybe a TP1 or something, maybe modify, or what, I don't know. But I didn't modify as much as now. It's because it's completely outside your control. I don't care, Osborne. I know you've been doing it 30 years and you're a genius and got 20 degrees. But aren't going to be times you're going to scratch your head. Why did that happen? You understand what I mean? So, you just got to just accept that. And I still think, quite frankly, Barney, it's the sentiment levels are going up dramatically simply because the advent of many, many, many millions added to the retail market, whose strategy is more emotional fear than sort of cold-hearted logic. Etienne just saying he's not really a gambler, he's more an analytical like yourself, Farney. So if you get Farney with 100, with £1 million, Etienne with £1 million, and you get Joe, Bill, and Mary, who've also got £1 million each, but they're complete emotionals. They might force it more the direction of themselves and you, or the rocky area, because they were 3 million compared to 2 million. 3 million are handled by 3 emotionals and inexperienced. And that's when the frustration comes in, if you see what I mean. Not real brilliantly put, but I hope you get the concept.
No, it's absolutely true. I must tell you that before I've joined QuickTrade, I've done some CFD trading on shares. And in the last 2 months, I only got shares correct like 10%. So every time the market opened, the shares either go sky high or very low against my trade. And this is what I couldn't understand. I mean, 10% winning rate on trades is horrendous shit. So bad, sorry, my word. But that's it.
I think at a time like that, 10% SH12 as in shit is quite required, understandable. If I bet 10%, I think shit not. I think that's quite adequate. Don't worry about it. You're being human, not to. That's hectic
and costly.
And what hectically costly, of course. Yeah, if it wasn't costly, it wouldn't be hectic. I'm sorry, I only got 5% of my trades right in the demo. I don't think anyone cares. You know what I mean? No, of course it's financial. You've got to remember now, you're almost certainly talking about JSE CFDs. I'm so glad we got rid of them. The problem with JSE CFDs, when they opened, they had massive spreads, which you're not getting on the US dollar ones. They might open up higher. Look, that's completely different. I'm talking the buy and sell, the spread difference. And let's say you went into Impala Platinum, and let's say it was 100 Rand a share, and you had a stop loss, let's say modified. Let's say you got in at 95, right? And it's now closed the night before 5 at 100 Rand. But before it closed, you modified your stop to, let's say, 97, for argument's sake, all right? In the opening, 9 o'clock opening the next morning, 8:30, whatever it was, opening next morning anyway, used to get this enormous spread, wide spread before it closed. Now, if you're going long, and let's say the normal spread between the two is, let's say, 40, 50 cents, 80 cents, it floats the buyers and sellers. It opens, let's say, a 4 gap. So now as the buy is now at 100 and the sell is now at 96, you would get out on the sell because you bought it. The 96 would kick you out. As within 4 or 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes, certainly 3 or 4 minutes anyway, the spread suddenly sort of closes, you know, and it's back to normal. The problem is you're not on board anymore because that sudden widen the spread, not the opening price to closing price. That happens. I'm talking about that spread closing. That doesn't happen to US shares because the volatility, the fear, a lot of people were selling their shares to get out of the country, even though it was a good company like Discovery. Nothing wrong with the company. They're just getting their money out because they're scarpering. And because it's far thinner volumes than the Americans, you get these massive opening spreads before they close. To say what I mean, you get stopped out in the spread. unbelievably frustrating. And now you try and explain that to a guy who's just beginning. What the hell's going on? I don't know what you're talking about. And so they're going to make money. What are you talking about? These bloody widening spreads. What's going on here? And plus the 95 rand a month costs. You get it. And then the extremely high brokerage on top of the spreads. And guys don't understand the maths and the most basic maths. A guy, let's say, has 100,000 rand in their account to do and they don't do shares because the costs are too high. So they've got £1,000. 95 rand a month is nearly 1,200 rand a year. They've got to make over 100% a year to pay for the 95 on their 1,000 rand, just to pay for the JSE fees, which is useless to them. The whole thing was a remorse, simply because of lack of knowledge and small funds and all the other hassles that we with it. So in the end, at last, they said, this is ridiculous. Plus, let's be honest, I think with all the hassle of the JSE ones, we would rather sell an international stable one anyway. What a pleasure. So that was the greatest thing they did, get rid of the JSE ones. It doesn't matter if you're a big boy, trade along, you know the score. But for new guys with small accounts, who basic problems in basic arithmetic, to be honest, you try and explain that. Oh, it was awful. And of course, now they're pissed off and they're emotionally upset. And of course, it's our fault because they're not being rational and they won't understand the explanation. It's like trying to explain quantum mechanics to your dog. You know, it's not going to work. And that's why I'm glad they got rid of it. Because that, without doubt, the basic problems here is not understand the basic mass of it, incredible overexposure, not consistent in their volumes, and trying to drive a car without really knowing how to. That's really more the problem. And then when you have on top of that the market issues that come in, you get this. It's a primordial mix, primordial soup of waiting to blow up. It's been quite poetic here. Yeah. Anyway, going back to this. Any more questions, please? I enjoy it when you chat because we get some good stuff learned. If you want to unmute, please do. If you're not sure about, please do. Try and get an explanation. It's vital you interact if you're not sure about something. If I can explain it, obviously, I'm fairly wordy, I know that, but within reason I will. If I can't, I'll have to say maybe read up, Google it, or go to classes. But I'll do what I can anyway, but please interact. If you don't ask, I don't know whether you know it or don't. Going back to this one, it's starting to come back again, so we're still okay. And it's about breaking evening at the moment. 07, well, we get out on that. So it's slightly down on the spread, that's all. GBP, CAD, that was the other one. We're talking about the new situation where we're doing the break on the hourly one. Let's get in that. What's the difference now? 25 pips up, that's okay. So 25 pips are good on that one. Euro dollar at the moment, I take your point 100%. We haven't closed it yet. Progress, about the same. That's about 50 pips. Yeah, 55 pips. 55 pips in profit at the moment, quite rightly. US dollar, Swiss franc, 91.77. That's now, we get on the ask. That's 41 pips in profit. So 3 in profit, 1 is just the spread. Otherwise, it'd be doing okay. So that's not too bad. The NAS is still going up. Well, that's a complete remorse. So we've got to make a plan of this because this is really getting out of hand here. I mean, out of the last 5 or 6 trades being sent out, I think about 1 of them being okay, which is about the worst situation I've seen in I don't know how long. So we're going to go through this. We're not worried about fundamentals unless a big one's coming out, you know, later on the next couple of hours. Then you might want to pass it and find something else. So maybe look at GBP, JPY, if a dollar one's coming out. You get the idea? But apart from that, we would have been in on this one. Let's look at the hourly one. Let's say we got in on the break here. Where's it? Yeah, where's it? Yeah. Let's say we got in here. See, it's broken above. We're on the buy. We'd have been up to this stage of the game, 370 pips. Hang on, what time is this morning? Make it practical. No, 10 o'clock last night. No, hang on. What's it, the 30th? Beg your pardon. What are we now? Thursday, Tuesday, 10 o'clock at night. If you're fast asleep, you'd have missed it. So be it. You're getting up at what time in the morning? Shall we say what time you open up and have a check? Say it's 7 o'clock. You could have maybe entered it there. And okay, so you're only up 300 pips. Oh, shame. You get that. You might have been out here. It dropped below that. or you might be fast asleep because what time was that? If you're still asleep at 5 in the morning, you'd have had your stop loss at this stage of the game 50 pips below it, down here somewhere 50 pips. Yeah, below that, wherever you said it the night before, I know, it's a trading stop. So it either stops you out in a profit, or you'd take yourself out there if you're up. And if you earn up, well done for sleeping in. So if you're a lazy bugger and slept in, this time it did you a favor, because you would have known you've been up there and it's back up again, so let it run. If it drops below that, you don't sell it. You leave it till it goes back above. And if it continues down, you leave it until on the daily, remember, you only sell it if it's below this guy. You only buy it above this guy on the daily, then you go to the 100. I'm sorry, you go to the 10-day on the 1 hour. Are we all on page here? I'm glad you joined, Derek. Yeah, NZDCHF and the GBP-CAD. I think it was you mentioned. I don't know who it was, because I didn't. GBP-CAD doing nicely. NZDCHF, I got in. That was your idea. I remember, looked at it. I did exactly that, and it's starting to come right. Gave me a bit of a jip up here. What's the stop loss doing there? Oh, no, that's not a problem. It gets a stop loss problem. On a daily, it's still idiot. Go back to the hour, and yeah. So got in there, and so it's just a spread at the moment, keeping me back. Otherwise, it's fine. A bit wide, it's spreading. Never mind. Don't say that. Oh, no, get in trouble. But yeah, I think you're not stupid. You can see that. But anyway, there it is. I can't do anything about that. But anyway, the point is, it's starting to come back. Gave him a bit of a jip, but it didn't close above. Thank goodness. It's coming back. So start to break even again, or it was in profit. And the GB CAD is in profit. Who did the GB CAD? Because it wasn't my idea. Somebody noticed that, so that's fine. You're still hanging on there, but did he? Yeah, because that was a trade that went in this morning idea. I'm still in that because I got a 13-1 stop. Okay, you've probably got a 13-1 stop, so you'll still be in that. I'd be surprised if it holds on much above 30,000 personally. That is my guesswork. And the old ditty was heard all those years ago, King Canute from old times, you know. King Canute sat down by the sea, up came the tide and away went he. Famous king way back in old England, the dark, come going in the Middle Ages, and he was a ditherer of note, could never make a decision, he dithered. So I said, King Canute sat down by the sea, up came the tide and away went he, because he couldn't even make a decision. He's such a ditherer to get out the way. So yeah. I hope 13,000 holds. 12,000, you're a bit late on that one, my friend. I think we're talking typo here. Sorry, Farney. I'm bad at typo. I shouldn't jest.
No, you're right. Sorry, it was a typo.
Not for me to call you that. I typo a lot, yeah.
But this 2 and 3 is too close together on my keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. I often put 9N for in, because the 9 and the N on my phone, my finger, it's so bloody big, fat finger. And so a guy says, "What's 9N mean?" Well, I meant in. That's why I can't tap like these youngsters, because I do, it comes out of gobbledygook and I'm pressing all the wrong bloody keys. But I don't encourage voice messaging unless I'm doing the voice message. No, that's different, because it takes all day to listen to it. But sometimes you've got no choice. If it takes more than typing away half an hour later, rather just leave a voice message, you know, on the WhatsApp, that is. Anyway, so yeah, let's just see how that works out. GBP CAD, NASDAQ, just have to let it run. If you're out, you're out. Don't chase it, leave it alone. Don't get clever. Don't know revenge trading, etc. Anybody else wants to ask any questions or learn stuff or look at a trade idea on the medium to longer term, or look at this particular idea we've come up with here to adjust for, well, market conditions, for want of a better word, please go for it. Anybody new, you will not learn this in a few minutes. Any skill worth learning takes more than a few hours to learn. Took a little bit longer than Tiger Woods to make his millions in golf, certainly more than 1 or 2 hours. So you just hang on in there. but at least anyone joining out made a start, and that's good. Because most of them are coming in with great hope in their hearts of some video they watched on Instagram. I'm afraid that reality doesn't always crack it. Okay, as I'm sure you all now realize, especially the older guys. If you don't believe me, go into Instagram and God, it's all emotional, superficial junk, basically. A lot of fun, as long as you know it's that. You know? Did Prince Harry really say that to Merkel or whatever her name is? You know what I mean? Is it? That's not to do with the trade we've been talking about. This is slightly different because that's still in the buy zone. So we can't do an hour trade. Let's call it the hour trade on it. We can't do the hour trade on it. But if you want to do that, yeah, if you're a glutton for punishment the way it's been buggering around, put your stop up here on the micro and then sell it down if you want. But I've had enough of this damn thing. I ain't doing it. I've been smack hard it down. Smack hard. I have to be honest. A couple of weeks ago, I did make a very big top on the down and that. So shouldn't be whining too much. But the last couple of trades on it have smacked me. Yeah, from a momentum point of view, I'm increasingly coming towards your thinking there too. Sod the bloody common sense, sod the bloody whatever's happened around the world. Momentum. They might be all charging across to Instagram reading that nonsense when there's a perfectly good book on, I don't know, Ibsen or Noel Coward. No, they're all going to that, go with that momentum. Simple as that, you're right. I'm turning more on it. Oh, that's fine, yeah, okay. But we wouldn't do it on the 100 ones. I'm just talking about the new one. That's fine. We're on the, hey, hang on. Remember, it's on the daily. Clearly, it's in the buys. Or is it? No, it's not. We can't do the Dow because it's in the neutral zone. If we stick to the parameters, we can adjust it. But what we discussed this morning, we can't buy or sell this one on the 100. Oh, sorry, the 100 on the 1 hour. You know what I mean? What? That's a quick name for it. The new strategy. On the new strategy, you can't do it. Okay. But yeah, it's a pity because if that goes up again, look, maybe buy it. But we can't on the parameters of the rules. It's not down here or above there. If it makes sense. Okay. But you can do what you like. Obviously, I'm just saying in the parameters of the ruling, we're not ruling, but suggesting the new trading strategy we came up with this morning. Do what you like. I'm talking about. I don't really mind what you do personally, actually, and I'm talking about what we, family together or trading marines together, discussed this morning. Can't set rules and then just say, I'm going to do it on the 15th. I feel like it. You know what I mean? We've got to work on the disciplined trading principle there. Outside that, do you like? Do a 5 minutes if you want. Okay. Oh, I see. Just mentioning that. But encourage people. There's a lot of new guys coming in will start jumping in on that. I've had guys just putting up an example to show how something works and say, is that a trading signal? What's it about example you don't understand? You get the idea.
Mr. Rogers?
Go for it, Wendy.
I heard you speaking about the revenge trading. What does it actually mean? Can you explain?
This is beautiful. It's so simple. It's quite easy. Look at this here. I put a line or two to make it completely, utterly obvious. It's that straightforward. What are the daily one? Okay. Normally do it on the 4 hour and a half, but we'll do it on the day for explanation. Let's say you put it on the body there. Sorry, jumped a bit there. Put it. Sorry. Maybe put on the body there, and then put another one on the body down here. That's your range. You trade the range. So if the top of the range, then you put your stop above and sell it down there. If it comes down there and it starts, but you need confirmation, starts bouncing up, put the stop there and your target there. If it comes out, they're out. If it starts coming off, stop there, target there. No more complicated. Best way to say it, you're in a room right now, floor ceiling, trade that range. If it's near the roof, sell it short and aim at the floor. If it's near the floor, lie long and aim at the roof. No, stop below the floor. And if you're going long, stop above the ceiling if you're going short. You get the idea. No more, no less. And you've got to go and see, is it a range trade? If you wouldn't use this as a range trade, clearly there's no range, but you can see there's a bit of a range there. As it turned out, it broke out above it anyway. But that's the idea of a range trade. Normally it's done not on daily, it's normally done a 4 hour, 1 hour. So try 1 hour, soon find one. Do it the Dow's close by, soon find one with 1 hour there. We can't find a range. You get my point, that's the problem. Maybe find a range somewhere. There, you might find a bit of a range there. Next thing, you look at the range, you see, is it worth it? 50 pips, minimum 50 pips to make it worth it. You don't want to trade a range of 20, 30. Or if you want to do a 4 hour, you might get a better one there. Here we are. There's the range trade there. 4 hour.
I thought you said the revenge trade.
Oh,
trading.
no. Revenge trade is what you do when you're emotionally sodding well fed up. That's the revenge trade because you're completely fed up and they sod this. That's the revenge trade. A range trade is slightly more feet on the ground. No, a range trade. A revenge trade is not to be encouraged.
Oh, okay.
A meal best tasted cold, or whatever the expression is. Yeah.
Okay, because I used to think that the revenge trading is like when you hit a stop loss and then you wanna trade again to make it up for the.
You're right. That's revenge trading. And you ask Farley and Gerard, they've lost another one. That is their revenge trade. Bugger this. It must be right. Stop. I'm going in again, and they get stopped out the second time. Sometimes it works, to be fair, like every time, but it's not to be encouraged. Revenge trading. Range trading, yeah, there's a lot of people do that, yeah. And actually, buy there, stop down here. You might have got stopped out the slot here. Look at that. You see, that's the problem. You might have got stopped out there. What's this stop loss here? You bought confirmation there, 280 pips too far. So that wouldn't have worked. You've been stopped out even though it went there. If you're still there, what's the stop there? Yeah, 75, 80 pips is all right. Maybe 100 pips. Stop loss there, then it would have worked out. Okay. But if you put 100 pips stop, if you entered here on the long, you're going to be stopped out. Nothing is 100%. We're trying to sort of, tweak it to try and get on our side. So we'll see over the next month or so how this new trading strategy, I'm going to call it the 1 hour trading strategy, but it's a bit more to it than that, just for, unless you can think of a name for it. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll call it, EJ, because Etienne Joubert triggered it in my mind. So we can call it the EJ trading strategy, and we'll see how that works out. And if we find it can be, this is the word consistent, not, hey, yeah, I made 100% today, yeah. No, if you make consistent, decent, and then you look at the percentage on it over a period of a month, then you say, hang on, this is working. Then, as I mentioned to Etienne, we chatted to him earlier on, between the sessions, you'll find the money to put in. If you think you're making good money consistently, when you first came up, put in 10, I can't afford that. You'd be surprised how quickly you can afford 10 grand if you can see it's making money for you. You know what I mean? It's amazing how quick you get hold of the funds then. So then you can start, what you do then is up it. Instead of going for 0.01, you go 0.05, 0.1, 0.2, you get the idea. That is the problem, Etienne, with just about everything in life. This sodding word discipline. I've been in sales. I never ever mention when I was selling a product, to make this product work for you, you need to make an effort, you need to study, and you need discipline, you need patience. They're boring words. Boring. Selman, you sell the dream. You don't sell boring. Fortunately, in reality, a lot of it's sodding boring. I read a lot of special operation books, these SAS, Delta Force kind of, I quite enjoy it. And they're on surveillance. And it's amazing how boring that is. Film wouldn't sell if they showed them on surveillance all the time. Sorry, somebody say something? Someone trying to ask something, so you shut up. Wouldn't be the first time I've heard that.
Roger,
Okay.
I want to ask, can I ask something?
Sure, of course.
The Microsoft signal that was sent today, right? The market's open, but it's indicating a sell. And with the new strategy and everything that you go through, it's all in buy country.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it for shares. The trouble with
Yeah.
shares, they open 3:30, and you've got commissions as well as spreads on it. Not for shares.
Okay.
You don't do it for shares, no. Ignore the
Okay.
shares. That's the trade I've already done.
All right.
But but ignore shares. This is predominantly for the NAS and the Dow. But if you can't find a trade there, start looking for dollar. The six, was it 6 of them with the dollar? I think it's 6 anyway. I can't remember now. Not the rand. Forget the rand. I'm talking the cross of the majors on the dollar. And if you can't find him there, start hunting around and maybe the GBP or the Japanese yen or the Canadian, some bloody thing, and see if you can find one. If you can't, well, be patient. Do something else. But surely you can find something, hopefully, without pushing it out of all the stuff out there. You know what I mean? But start off with the two major indices, not the German. I suppose you can do. I'm really into that, to be fair. But when you got the NAS and the Dow and the micros, at this stage again, don't worry about the German, the FTSE, then still standard contracts. Try those two, then go for the dollar ones. If you can't find them, then you can look elsewhere. That's why it'd be ideal down the line. If you get someone who's also retired and can work with you, you can be keeping an eye on things so they do some research in other potential areas. Two heads are better than one, as long as you don't argue. And see Mark's back in here. And if you can find someone who's jacked up in IT, it might help you set up alerts and things like that. Or if you have some problems with the IT side, you don't stick your finger in your mouth. You're wrong with like me. No, you turn around to Mark and say, what the hell's going on here? Hey, you like that, yeah. What food? No, they don't, you want to do something, yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a good thing I didn't try out the Microsoft. I thought I should take it easy.
No, I think you can do the Microsoft. I think you can.
Okay.
You get a price. I think you can. Go for the Microsoft. Go with the SL. Go with the TP. I'm going to stick my neck out. I don't think this upside's going to forever. If the 13,000 hits hovering around there, it starts coming off, your Microsoft should come right. You're buying pretty near the top of the Microsoft. I think you can do it. You know that you just look at the signal and you can work out from there what your volume is going to be to what your paid to risk and what your balance is. Head out. You can do the maths. If you can't do maths, you can't do anything really. I mean, you've got to be able to read and write and do the maths, And yeah,
Right.
I think I'm happy to stay in it. I'm in at 280. I'm more than happy to stay. I think it's 279.80 or whatever. Call it 280. You're getting $2 better price. Yeah, so you're getting a tighter stop and a longer TP, better risk reward. And if you go in the risk reward and the signal, it's actually you're getting to do better than that because it says 100 Rand. It's actually only about 80 at this price. You get the point. So go into the signal, go to market entry. I like this trade. I do like it, despite all the shit that's happened so far. Excuse my French, but I like this trade. But this is not for the EJ strategy. This is nothing to do with it. That's only for something that goes round the clock, not for shares. But got it.
Okay, thanks for the advice, sir.
Good stuff. Yeah. Learn your instruments. I'm sorry, Etienne, but this is something. You've got to listen to this guy. Yeah, absolutely. Do you think Tiger Woods does what? Do you think, I picked on poor old Mark there. He runs an IT business. But he might love his IT, but he might have done a little bit of studying somewhere along the line to know his IT. If I go on, and I'm in Cape Town now, and I've got a problem with a laptop, and go and take along to Mark, he's an old buddy on which we haven't met, but on the old Zoom here. And I pick up in 5 minutes. He doesn't really know as much about, not much more than I do. I hope I'll be polite, say, sorry, I've got to go. I've just got to sort something out, disappear out and take it somewhere else. Of course, you've got to know your instruments. You've got to know, you say in English, don't have to say in South Africa, you've got to know your onions. You might not know in 5 minutes, but you've got to progress towards it. But there's an enormous amount of people who have not taken the effort, not got the money, not got the knowledge, not even going to any classes, and not even got proper Wi-Fi, now think they're going to make the kind of money a surgeon makes. Don't know what to say. No, can't play like Tiger Woods. It probably never would be anyway. Anyway, that's the point. But I've certainly got to at least, do a bit of practice and learn it. Absolutely, Etienne. Yeah, I'm your friendly doctor. And I got this thing around my neck. You say, what's that? Let me Google it. Oh, yes, it's a stethoscope. Does that fill you with confidence to allow me to start prodding your body and prescribing pills and coming with a surgeon's knife? No, it doesn't. Okay. What's Tesla doing? I'll just change the subject quickly. Yeah, Tesla's moving up again. I don't think it's going to sustain for long. I know it's in the buy zone. Leave it alone. But I think a lot of them are going to come off soon. I just going back to Australia. There's so much problems out there. I think it's a major rally, bull rally in the bear market. But leave it alone for the moment. And I'll be discussing it tomorrow if you see any big trades come up. I would probably, if it does come off, be loath to put out the NAS again after the hassle we've had. We don't necessarily, even if we just have to miss out on it. It's been a bit of a remorse lately, and I feel for you guys, and I understand that. Especially guys that are overexposed. Please get your position size calculator. For goodness sake, don't overexpose. You know, you just don't do that. I give an example. If you don't mind bringing up one of the purples in here, it was on the GBP USD. I'll show what I mean, so you get an idea graphically. I'm not bringing up, so I'm not going to mention the name. But I know you're in here. Just get an idea. We're gonna sell a USD. It was a sell, all right? It doesn't really matter which way it is. Sorry. We're going to sell it, all right? Where's the stop loss? Sell it. We'll put the stop loss 100 pips above. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, 2, 1. We'll leave the stop now. We'll put that at, I don't know, 1.22. It doesn't really matter. An example, guys, is in a trade, please. Right. That tells you immediately it's 165 Rand per micro. So if you go 0.5 and then go another one 0.5, that comes to 0.1 or 1 milli. That's 10 times the amount. So now you're risking 1,650 Rand. The guys who risk that are the guys on 80, 90, 100 grand. You get my point. So if a guy's got 3 or 4, 5 grand in their account, they're horrendously overexposed. And that's what comes back and bites. Okay, make sure you got the risk. If 164, to me, the guys who got 2 grand go for 0.01. A guy who's got 5 grand would go for 0.02. Not 0.03, not 0.04, 0.02. And not suddenly open another one because a trade idea comes out the next day saying sell it again. They go in another 0.02. Now they're on a combined 0.04. They're 100% overexposed. That is basically arithmetic. So you've got to be careful of that. I'm just about to get stopped out on that. I think I'll take this thing off. It's giving me a nightmare. I'll leave it on. You can get rid of it by just clicking there and clicking trade levels, trade history. You just click on there and take it away. See what I mean? Now it's gone. I might as well leave it on anyway. Good. Looks like it's going to get stopped out, but that's certainly it. At least I'm suffering as well. Okay. What's the time? I've got plenty of time, right? 5 o'clock. We want to look at something. What did we want to look at? 5. Didn't write it down. We want to look at something at 5 o'clock. I've completely forgotten. Can you remind me? Who's coming up to 5? Got what it is now. I'm going to mention we want to check at 5 o'clock. If you can remind me, tell me. Let's go as you think of it. AUD USD. It's in the short area, so we can short it. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. We can keep an eye on that one. If this is above, we can't. If this opens below it, we can try and look at that one. NZD, if I remember rightly, is in the no-go zone. Don't do gold at this stage or nat gas or commodities. Just do the ones I talked about. Don't jump ahead of yourself. No, that's in the neutral. So leave that. So go back to the euro dollar. What's that happening there? It's about the same. So we're doing okay there. CHF 191.28. That's doing even better. We're 50 pips up. So no, we're about on that one there, nearly 50, about 45. So that's okay. And GBP CAD. which I did go. And these were, if we would have gone in, you know what I mean? Those two there mentioned. GBP CAD. Can't see a thing on that. Still doing okay. 50. And the stop loss, we need 50 pips behind. The stop loss is slightly above that because I moved it up when it was at 167.60 to 167.10, as you can see. Get the idea? So I'll leave it there, and my risk is 10. If that goes up to 167.70, I'll modify it up to 50 pips behind at entry. So that would be nice. And NZDCHF, that one now hovering, but at least it's not 2 pips to the down, but not a problem. Okay. Another one point, learn your instruments, because they've got certain characteristics. Now, Etienne suddenly saying, what about the Nikkei? I haven't got it on there. I can pull up the Nikkei right now and I can take a look at that in a couple of seconds because I do it every day. I can see the charting technicals immediately. What I haven't studied is the Nikkei, what's behind it, the characteristics, the characteristics of it. Oil, I know the characteristics, the Brent, WTI. I don't know the characteristics of Nikkei. I know it's Japanese and I know blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I'm not doing it all the time, so I know the characteristics. As Tim said, he started off with oil, opened his mind to try something else. But he knew a bit about oil, you know what I mean? So just don't go in. Why are you in WHL? That was a few years ago in JSE. I remember that because a signal told me. So what's WHL? Oh, I don't know. Didn't even know it was Woolworths. You get the idea. Why go long? Oh, because the signal told me. Everyone says, I want to learn how to fish, so I want to control my own life. But then they immediately go and just follow blindly the general as if they're a private in the army. No, you need to know the characteristics, absolutely. Be disciplined, but be open-minded. A few skills got to be brought into anything that's going to make money. There's a few lucky people out there, but most millionaires, successful people, I'm afraid didn't swallow the get-rich-quick pill. Most of them put a lot of effort, time, energy into it. But hey, it's worth it if you do, hey. Start to reap the benefits, hey. Reap the benefits of this, hallelujah, hey. Actually, on a long period, you can get hold of yourself maybe 100 grand or something like that, and you're making the kind of decent living. I think most people rather do this and go into work each day with the grind involved and the crap you got to take, you know. But about a minimum, I reckon, of 100 grand, you can make a living out of it. Minimum, that varies, probably a bit more. And it might be a lot of money to some people at the moment. In the scheme of things, that's about just under $6,000 US. It's not a lot. I know it's easy to say, but it's not. I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the world, you know what I mean? It's not enormous, but it might be a bit far away to some of the moments. And the problem is as well, you know, going to work every day, it's costing you, I don't know, a couple of grand a month or more just to get there. You can get work from home and meet that save that kind of time as well. I'm going to say just the opposite. I don't think one of us would be a billionaire by year end. Sorry about that. Millionaire, maybe. Billionaire is another story. Most people, if they're disciplined, save properly, used compound interest over a long period of time. It does take time to not get rich quick. And they didn't go and buy fancy cars and just bought a car to get about in, preferably cash, because you're leveraging a liability in the car because it goes down in value. And disciplined on that area, didn't buy the latest fashions and blow it in the casino or in the pub or wherever you go, or in drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? Most people could probably, if they're disciplined, be a millionaire. Billionaire's another level. So I think you're pushing it a bit there, my friend. But most people, $1 million is best part of 20 million rand. Most people could live off that, 20 million rand. If you can get 10%, that's 2 million a year, unless you really want to start buying fancy yachts. Most people live off 2 million a year. You get the idea. So don't set rich goals a little bit too high. I take your point, but that's pushing it a little bit. I don't think by the end of the year I'm going to be beating Rory McIlroy at golf. Put it that way. Even I start now and don't sleep for 365 days, and I'm just on the practice green. Still won't sleep for me. Pushing my luck. US dollar for short. Okay, sorry, Mr. Acton, beg your pardon. You're certainly being bold there, Mr. Keone. That's for bloody sure. I've nothing wrong with having high ambitions and thinking big, but that is thinking big. Don't be negative. That is thinking big. Euro dollar? Yeah, euro dollar. What do you want to do with this one? You want to short it, you? You're right, bloody friend you are, Mr. EJ. I've got this EJ trading and a long at the moment on, you know, I've got an EJ trading on a long, which was in at, when we down here, 8 o'clock this morning. Now you want to short it. Well, what do you think I should do then? Should I close this trade, which is not even a real one anyway, but you get my point. Oh, you're still camping, Anna Marie? Wow, God, it's all about this. Now we know somebody's keen. If they can make, if this lady can make it to the trading session, which is on holiday camping, then you know that person's going the extra mile. I have to say, I'm impressed. Yeah, the storm, she's sitting there in a hurricane, the tent is blowing at hinges, screaming racket, but she's listening in the trading room. That's the way you become a billionaire. That's the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. Maybe Anna Marie will be a billionaire there. I understand that. No problem. I'll set up for a millionaire. I'm not going to sit in a tent and try and be on the session with that racket going on. No, brilliant.
Mr. Rogers,
Go for it.
what happens when both my risk and reward are sitting on 100 on Microsoft? I just entered the trade.
Sitting on 100. Sorry, I'm being a bit sick here. What's that mean?
On my position size calculator.
No, you don't use this one. You're not using this one, are you? You're using this one.
Yeah. Yes, I'm using that one. Sir.
No. I say again, you can't use this one. You've got to go to the Excel one. I'll show you what I mean. Give me a second. This is the one you got to use. Just a second. CFD calculator. Just stop the share when it comes up eventually. Give it a moment. This is the one you have to use. You get on your LMS.
Yeah, yes. Sir.
Okay, give it on the LMS, right? Just a second. Okay, just do this. I'll give you a second here. Share for everyone. Where are we? Stop the shares, right? And then start the share. Hope you can see it. If you can see it, that's great. If you can't, tell me. But that's the one you use. Takes on the commission because there's a slight commission on it. You can put it in your ICAP there. Try one, and you can extrapolate from one. Don't try why, just one. Anyway, it gives you the risk reward anyway on the signal. And then you just put your entry price in. It's not automatic. You've got to put the entry price in. The TP comes first, not the SL. Wrong way around, my opinion, so be it. And the SL, and then you click here, and then it'll give you the figures. So completely different. That's for shares. Everything else you do on the other one for shares. Okay. Got it?
Okay.
How can I copy and paste this and put in the chat line? Anyone know how to do that? Because it's not got something here. It's not like a link I can send. If someone's got the brains and knowledge to send it and put it on the link, everyone have it. But it's there for you. I'm not the software. Just go back and stop the share. Just a second. Go back to the charts again. Just give me a second.
Oh, so it shouldn't be the position size calculator on Microsoft.
No, the Microsoft is on the Excel one I just showed you. It's nothing to do with the other one. Is for Forex, commodities, and indices, not for shares. No, absolutely not. No. Just give me a second.
Right.
Okay, got it. If Mark or somebody can copy and paste on, put it on the chat line there, fine. If not, all you got to do is you just go to your LMS and it's there somewhere. I think resources. Don't quote me. I think it's there somewhere.
Okay. I'll check it out.
No problem. Share again. Okay, hope you got that, guys. If it's a share, you can't use this calculator. You've got to use the other one. Okay. Euro doesn't approach an area, blah, blah, blah. Very safe. We're safe anyway. Well, not in it. It's the one we did on the EJ strategy. It was 10 o'clock. We didn't do it, but let's assume on the parameters we did do it. So obviously, it's a fake share one anyway. It's just getting an idea. It doesn't really matter. But having said that, if it was the real thing, I'm in profit anyway because my stop loss and the correct discipline area was moved up 50 pips. And now it's at entry anyway, so I'd leave the damn thing. And I'd stick to the principle that I'd get out if it goes below here. I won't get out just because somebody thinks it's coming off, I'm going to get out. I'll stick there. And if it does come down there and I could have got out there, well, you've got to stick with the discipline like I'm discussing. You know what I mean? Because there are going to be times you say, bloody hell, it's coming off, I'm going to take it anyway. Comes off, goes up. And I say, hey, yeah, George, you're up 250 pips now. Oh, we put that. Why I never came like, oh, I saw it coming down, so I took it. Guarantee guys are emotional. They're going to do it. Try and be disciplined and say, no, when it comes below there, then otherwise leave the thing. Never mind if Roger says, now looking for a short, a signal comes out for a short. Never mind. You stick to your guns. That's the way you do it. It's got to be consistent. Okay. Tweak it, but afterwards. As I say, when I used to play golf and someone would say, you got the arm a bit bent and I'm playing in the game. You know, I don't like to tweak my practice on the downswing. That's for the practice range, the driving range. Not when you're actually playing. You don't start giving advice then. You leave it alone. You get the idea. Okay, good stuff. Right. Happy with that? Good. Well, we'll see. Don't know. Could well do that, yeah. So far it's working. That's the main thing. That's what I'm worried about now. Okay, now let's go back to anything happening on the Dow. Any pull back on this as yet? Let's go to 15-minute. A little bit, but not much. Let's have a look at the NAS. Anything happening on the NAS? Still moving up. We might get to 13.1. That's where my stop is, but I think around the 13 level. Not exact, guys. Never, ever, ever exact. That's why I don't like fifth decimal point because people start thinking it's exact. I put a 13,000, I think round about that level, it consolidate and it might pull back. That's why my stop is at 31. Okay, let's see if it, I think it's got this far, it's going to get to 30,000. We've already done that yet. Not quite. I think it might push around there, but I think it might come back. We shall see. GBP USD turned out pretty well this style. It was doing beautifully. Again, like Pete says, jumping around. Buke turned into a baddie. Now it's coming off. That's a bit better. I think it's coming off a bit. I don't think I'm stopped out in it. Am I still in that one? No, I'm still in it. Good stuff. There's a sell. I'm still in it. Good. Maybe it'll come right. Who knows? But I want to spend some time in the trading room on proper ones in construction or area, but spend on this the EJ principle. I like that. The EJ principle. Because if we can get some consistency, we're all going to be very happy chappies. Except for Fardy, because he's got a massive tax problem and he's got to lay off all those profits he made. He's got to see a couple of losses. Otherwise, you'll have to pay too much tax. So he's going to have to.
You live in La La Land, my friend.
Lululand. La La. Ever heard of Brewster's Millions? It's a comedy film came out called Brewster's Millions. And this guy died and he left something like $300 million to his son, but he didn't want his son to go on a spending spree. So he wanted to make his son so utterly, totally, and completely sick of spending. He said to engage and get the will, he's got to spend $30 million. Was it? Anyway, well, $3 million or 30 million, I can't remember. A large, you have heard of it, Vicky, yeah. What's 30 minutes? Anyway, a very large sum of money. He's got to spend it in a month, right? And if he can't spend it in a month, then he won't get his inheritance. Because by the time he spends it, he's going to be so sick of spending, he might look after it. So he goes in the spending spree. So what he does now, he buys racehorses that lose. Now they start winning. He buys hopeless businesses, but the guys, he can't tell, by the way, he cannot tell anybody what's behind it. But the other people working that business don't know. They're so grateful to get a job on these extremely high salaries, really ridiculously high salaries paying, didn't realize for that, he wanted them to make a screw up. So they're doing their best and they're turning the bad business into good business and they're starting to make money. And he's getting more and more stressed and they couldn't understand why. You know what I mean? It's a very good film, very funny. But yeah, just think about it. Yeah, it's just as tough to spend a lot of obviously making money. But very amusing. I thought. Yeah. Okay. For anything you want to revisit? Anything you want to go over, guys? Some guys are left. Maybe I often find they leave not because it's work, because they don't understand what's going on, and they don't come back. That usually means it's gone over their head. Instead of finding out, one guy actually admitted that I didn't understand what we're doing, so I'm going to do it my own way, and then complained he was losing money. I mean, go figure. You know what I mean? This doctor's medical course I'm doing at university is far too difficult, so I'm not going to bother going it, and I'll just carry on doctoring my own way. You know? Yeah. You're picking stuff up, Madiri, Shuma, Yulan, because you're not engaging that much, you're not being left behind or feeling out of it. Anyone can chirp in. If finally chirps in, he obviously gets the attention. And yeah, with a team, we can do well. But if you're not sure, we'll try and help you. You've got to help yourself by asking. Eh? Hey, Vicky, you only do the short term. You'll start to get some idea what's going on there. Brian as well. Because we get a lot of guys come in and don't quite understand what's going on, leave and they don't come back. That's fair enough, but then that's their choice. But yeah, rather find out. And I think the problem is a lot of people want to learn how to play the piano in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, that's not quite how it works. If you want something that's worthwhile, you've got to put the effort in. Like marriage, hey guys, got to put the effort in. Hope that Anne-Marie's, no, she's left. I was the storm was too big. Hey, Mark, you're married. Worth it putting all that effort in, isn't it? Happy life, happy wife, and all that, eh? Yeah, sometimes you've got to give up your rugby. You have to. I've told that's a bit of an old one, but I've told that I must have been so old about the definition of South African gay guy. It's the guy who prefers his women to his rugby. Any questions? Next position on level on Nazi is 132. Oh my goodness, don't say that. My stop is 131. Don't even think of it. Yeah, you might be right. Well, it's 31. I think the psychological figure of 13,000. Remember saying the moving average might start sort of be a little bit far behind, as we discussed earlier on, and it might consolidate a bit, and they might start thinking, hang on, it's a bit overvalued. I might take profit, sell, bring the price down. I think it might attract some more short sellers, might push it down. All I can say, I'm hoping that, because you're quite right. Around about 250, in fact, my stop is 31. So fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. How's my NZD CHF? Anything happening there? So I think it's all quietening down a bit, actually. Market opens for 1.5, sometimes 2 hours in America. 3:30 to about 5:30. Bit of action, it starts to slow down a bit. What's the CAD doing? The other one, GBP CAD. Coming off a bit, I'm going to get stopped out and see. That's still okay. Looks horrible on the daily. What did Mark say the other day? It's falling like a stone. It was on the 1 minute chart. Falling like a stone, yeah. How far has that stone fallen? 10 pips. Bonacili, I think I've upgraded you and all the rest of it. I've got my stuff sent. I've sent my WhatsApp and contact details. I'm glad to have you here. Are you just listening, learning, understanding anything or anything you want to ask about? Please ask now, yeah. If you want to unmute, you can speak. If you want to put in the chat line, just say, just ask if you want to know anything. I'll try and assist. Don't want to get carried away if the guys have been training for a little bit longer. Might have gone to the kitchen or something. What on the Nash? Where the 1 hour aligned there. What's on the 4 hour? Daily. Yeah, they are similar. You're right. They are aligned. You're right. Well, so be it. But this would have worked beautifully. This system we talk about would have worked beautifully. What's the time there? What's the time here? 10 o'clock at night. If you're awake at that time, you'd have been laughing, eh? Even if you got stopped out there, you wouldn't be stopped out there. If you're awake at that time in the morning and you got out, you still made 200 pips. If you're fast asleep, did you a favor, you'd still be in. And remember, you'd have modified your stop 50 pips below that. Your stop would now be at 129. No, is it 100 pips? Sorry, on this one, isn't it? Beg your pardon. 12886. So you'd be 260 pips in profit, whatever happens. What a pleasure. And why would you get out now? Probably tempted anyway. And that is really been, how long was that? The 28th. That's in 2 days. I wouldn't mind making 300 pips in a couple of days. Okay, guys, all got that? Not NGAS, not gold. You might adjust it later on. Certainly not shares. Absolutely not shares. And not oil or anything like that. Just stick with those two indices at this stage. NAS on the micro and the Dow on the micro. And if you got bigger money, do the normal if you want. And yeah, dollar. Okay. I hope so. I really want to do this. It could be good. In fact, be frightened, be very afraid at it. If it does work out, I might get in the car, come around, give you a big fat kiss on the cheek and a hug, and you might be a little bit taken aback. I won't do that to Farney. I just get him a bottle of his choice of whiskey, single malt or whatever his choice is. You made some bucks in the meantime anyway, so yeah, well, happily do
Then
that.
you need to promise that we will both enjoy the bottle.
Ah, now we're talking. Now we're talking, yeah. Yeah, we'll sit back and have that sort of gracious living, have a cigar in one hand or whatever, and that gracious living, sitting back at like, have you ever seen the film Titanic? As if we're masters of the universe. Absolutely. Nothing like sitting back, contemplating and feeling incredibly important. Highly recommend it over a single malt. Etienne, we talked about discipline or not. That's going to be the major trip up. is sticking to the discipline of it. You're up 300 pips. Let's make it up 250 pips. You've got your stop there, but you think it's overcooked in your head. I sod, it's coming off now. I see a bit of red. It must be coming down now. Bugger it, I'm going to get out now. Comes down 20, 30 pips and shoots up and you're not on board. And sometimes you should have got out there and you got out the correct way, but rather stick to the discipline. You know what I mean? I know that's going to trip up the first couple of months, but if we can show it works, we stuck to the discipline, doesn't matter if you only made 100 instead of 200, whatever it is, you can see in your head the discipline of it works. Once you're convinced of that, it'll be a lot easier to maintain that discipline. It's just got to be proved over, I'm saying a month, could be a week, 2 weeks, make it a month, I'm just off the top of my head. But once you see the strategy actually does work, and you see it, you kept a journal of it, then you'll find it a lot easier to stick to discipline. You have complete faith in it. The moment you're a bit iffy, so you're not profit, I better take it. I get the point completely. That'll be the psychological aspect. But in a month's time, it doesn't matter. As long as you're in profit and you have the belief, the next month will get better. And then maybe in 3 months' time, Marley or Marius or somebody comes up and says, let's use the 7-day exponential moving average for when it crosses as a better entry and you get an earlier entry. That's, oh, yes, thank you. It does work. We'll tweak it. We'll continue in the normal way. I mean, there might be a situation where it's pretty good to see that we can do a NAS short on this one at the moment for a longer term prospect. We'll have that going on the sideline. And if you find it works better than anything else, why not? You'll never get a trade idea on this because obviously, no, for obvious reasons. I send out, to everyone else to understand it. Some of them don't understand the position size calculator, never mind understanding that. So, so we'll stick the normal regime on that one. But this one, we can, I'd really like to see this work. And then we can make a sort of trading room community. And then we can say, right, people who've got 100 grand, they can start, and as long as you don't want 100 grand a month out of it, pushing your luck, then you might need 500,000. But your capital's commensurate with a return. If it can work, then you can start thinking, maybe I can see this can happen for me without having to go with a bloody 9-to-5 job or whatever. Or even if you run a business, hey, Mark, it's all very well. I think a guy in a business, he's all right. He's wealthy. He sits around a big desk with a cigar. No, it's hard work, hassle. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I might be wrong, but if you could say, do this, and you make as much money doing this as in the business, you probably would sell the business. I might be wrong, but I'm assuming that. Unless you love what you're doing so much, well, that's different. You maybe get your wife in to keep an eye on things, you take a bit of a break. Very much so. If you get any news, it could trigger it big time. Because I'll tell you right now, near the 13,000 mark, remember on the 28th of March, it's a bit of daily, got rubbish there. What's this day here? That's the, what's this day? The 14th of March. A couple of weeks ago, it's gone up without any real breather. 1,300, just over 1,300 pips. And it's getting near the 13,000. People in those longs now are pretty nervous, trust me. So yeah, any trigger there, any negative trigger, you can get an overreaction, people jumping up, like a run on the bank, and it'll pull back. Don't forget the emotional side of it. If you're going to be emotional, like you're going to grab your money out of the bank, everyone else thinks the same way. Okay, guys. I hope you got some value. I hope some of the newer guys weren't sort of, I've never come back here yet. What a load of old baloney. If don't run behind the back and start complaining. If you have an issue, let's up it and sort it out. There's nobody good. Well, sort it out. But I hope you get some value. And yeah, stick with it. You'll get there. But you got to clearly. Well, so be it. But anyway, I don't know about that. But okay, right. So any other questions? Anything else you want to discuss just before we close up? You good, Bonacili? You haven't said much. You good?
I'm already in on Microsoft, so we're good.
Is it? You're already in there?
Yes, sir.
Just doing okay, but if that thing comes off, that'll come off quick. So I'm happy with that. Chuma, are you okay? Welch hadn't really said anything. Anyone else left and something? I'll get it disappearing out of here. Tokazani, I hope you're okay. Some new names don't really come up much. You're not being left out. Just put your penny in and see if we can all help. You're all part of the family, okay? If you don't want it, it's up to you. Okay. All right, guys. If that's that. See how they go. Meet up tomorrow morning. No afternoon session on Friday. Don't forget. Okay, Chuma, that's not a problem. That's as long as you realise you're not being left out. Of course, you can interact. You want to take notes and learn. And let's say, try not to get disappointed if a lot of it's gobbledygook. The first day university, it's what's going on. You know what I mean? But that's why you learn. Stick with it. And then tomorrow morning, as I say, just a morning show. And then next week, it's Good Friday. Everything's closed except we will do, if you're on holiday, well, fair enough. If you have access, we'll do the straddle trade for the non-farms. And we'll keep you updated near the date. See that. Okay. Good stuff. Thanks for interacting. And great. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And we'll revisit. And if you do see anything, it's up to you guys as well on the EJ principle, as I call it. Have a quick check of it, and then we can all benefit. Don't just leave it to me to look for one. You guys look for it as well. Okay. And then if we can find one, we'll do it. Okay. Good. Thanks very much. And catch you tomorrow. Cheers. Thanks, Etienne. Thanks, everybody. Cheers, Mark.